Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth. Let me start off by explaining a few things about myself which are important to this video series that I'm starting. I have been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and it is something that I acquired in childhood. I've had it almost all my life, which, you know, there are people who get post-traumatic stress disorder from combat. There are people who get PTSD from traumatic, like an earthquake or some kind of natural disaster. And there are a lot of people who acquire PTSD from childhood ongoing abuse or trauma. And that would be me. So I think that in some ways the different kind of categories of PTSD are a little bit different, but the symptoms are still the same, and the treatments are still the same. So in that way, I have some things in common with people who have acquired their PTSD for other reasons, but I think that it can be more complicated when you have childhood PTSD, because there can be a lot of other mental diagnoses that come with that, like borderline personality disorder is something that is often acquired through childhood abuse, and you could have all kinds of other things that result from this this trauma so early in your life. So a lot of people with PTSD that where it started really early have a lot of other complications. For me, I don't have any other mental disorders, but I have some health conditions which have made my life pretty difficult. I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I've had symptoms for about 10 years. They started the middle of my high school career, but it takes several years to get diagnosed, and that's really normal because they pretty much just rule out every other possibility and then tell you that that's what you have. So I have pain all over my body every second of every day. It's not always awful, but it does get pretty bad. Sometimes for weeks or months at a time, it will be bad enough to disrupt my life. But when I'm having a good week or month, I'm able to have a normal life. So I'm not completely disabled, but things are difficult, and usually what'll happen is everything will be going fine, and then I'll have kind of a downswing, which is normal with fibromyalgia. You have kind of these ups and downs, and then things will fall apart, and I will often have to quit my job and all of my social activities, and all of a sudden I have to start all over again. So that has been an issue, and I was also diagnosed a couple years ago with irritable bowel syndrome. So, and that was after several years of having kind of a stomach ache every day. And it started out as just kind of minor stomach ache, and I thought, wow, why does my tummy hurt? Like, why do I feel like that? And it has gotten worse to the point where there's a lot of things that I can't eat at all, or I'll have stabbing gut pains and, issues. So both of these conditions are chronic. They're incurable. They're difficult to treat. With the irritable bowel syndrome, I was basically told, here's an information pamphlet, good luck. That's it. There's nothing we can do for you. And the information pamphlet just says, avoid eating things that bother you, which could include raw vegetables or spicy things or fatty things, and don't wear tight clothing around your waist. With the fibromyalgia, there are some things that can be done, but pain, like prescription pain pills, don't really work very well. And I found that doctors will not even see me. Like, when I get to a new place, I'll call and be like, oh yeah, I need to make a doctor's appointment. And they're like, what is this appointment about? As they always ask. And I'll say, oh, well, about fibromyalgia. And they'll say, oh, we can't see you. The reason is they're concerned about opiate junkies. And I have finally found a doctor who prescribed me Lyrica. which is for nerve pain, and it has been helping a lot. So there are some treatments, but there's no cure. You know, they tell you you'll have this for the rest of your life, and it'll probably get worse. And I believe that the fibromyalgia and the irritable bowel syndrome, and I also have issues with like getting sick a lot, my immune system's always down and stuff like that, are all related to the PTSD. I think, you know, I'm constantly in a state of high alert. I have a lot of stress and just constant stress hormones, just bathing my body constantly. I said constantly a lot. So I think they're all related, and you know, most of the medical professionals that I've seen agree with that. So, you know, if I hadn't had those things that happened in the past, then I probably wouldn't be in pain right now, which is a frustrating situation, to be honest, but either way. So those are my complications. And I'm explaining this to you because this video is going to be about my road trip. But it's really going to be about someone with PTSD and physical handicaps, issues, doing a road trip. And it's not about, you know, a fun road trip. I did not just randomly decide to go on vacation. This is not a vacation for me. I ran out of options as far as living situations. I'm really doing this road trip because I didn't have a lot of other options, and I refuse to give up on the idea that I can have a real life and that I can have a meaningful life, and that's really important to me. And this was the path that I thought would be most likely to still bring me to maybe a meaningful life. And I was talking with someone not too long ago about how I'm really in kind of an awkward place because I'm not quite disabled enough to get any help, but I'm not well enough to really make things work in the traditional sense. Hold a job, you know, save up money, support myself. So I could give in and become more disabled, and, you know, I could get more help, but I don't want to do that. I want to make things work, and, you know, maybe the traditional life path is not available to me, but I want to make my own path. I don't want to go the totally disabled route. I have to find a new place to belong, and I'm hoping that I will find that somewhere else, because I think that that's possible. I think that sometimes if you go to a different maybe part of the country, the culture is a little bit different. Maybe I'll feel like I fit in better. I might be able to make some friends and find some opportunities. So all of my worldly possessions are in this car, and I have kind of decided, I've picked a couple places to go. I have a friend in San Jose, California. I'm from Wisconsin, by the way. And I wanted to visit Colorado Springs and Portland, Oregon, because I was told that they were fun places. So, you know, I am kind of turning it into sort of an enjoyable road trip. But, you know, it's a little bit different from, you know, oh, I'm just going to have a fun vacation and I'm going to show you guys about it. And I actually have a previous playlist series, I'm calling it. I have a previous series of videos that just go into me having PTSD and going through treatment, which I did go through some treatment. I had to quit because it turned out that I wasn't quite ready. But that series was about going through treatment and really exploring what it's like to have PTSD. And I would like this series to be a little bit more fun, but it's still going to be serious. This is really about still my journey with PTSD and trying to find my place in the world with PTSD. And I hope you will join me on my journey. And I hope through these videos that I will reach someone. That's why I'm doing this. This is not because I would like to see myself on video. Ugh. This is not something that I just, I feel a need to be heard. This is something that I'm doing specifically because I want to make a difference. So hopefully I will accomplish that. I took a video when I first left kind of my driveway, and I'll show you that next just because I thought it was kind of important. But I didn't have time to do kind of this video explaining what's going on, so I've done it later, so everything's a little bit out of order. So my next video is going to be, this is me leaving my driveway, and then there's going to be a short clip of, this is me in a rest stop in the middle of the night. And then the video after that will be after today. So that's how it's gonna go. I hope that you will join me for this trip. I have no idea, how it's gonna turn out, and I will see you down the road.